Welcome back to the Sydney Entertainment and Conference Centre here at Darling Harbour. Semi-final day of the 2012 Australian Badminton Open. And so it's time right now for the second of the women's semi-finals. Korea Republic's Sung Ji-hyun taking on the unseeded Chinese Han Lee, the number 3 seed from Korea, against a very interesting character in Han Lee. She doesn't play an awful lot in the last couple of years on the tour, but she has a remarkable record, and she's here yet again at the semi-final stages. So if she can see off injuries and put together a strong run of results, she will quite possibly become one of the real dangers on the women's circuit. And it is Han Lee who has won the coin toss, as there we see Sung Ji-hyun, the 20-year-old from Korea Republic, the number 3 seed here at Sydney, up against Han Lee. Well, there you see it. Not too much known about the number 92 in the world. This is her first outing of 2011. And Sung Ji-hyun, the number 3 seed here, a world ranking of 12. She is one of the top women in the world, looking for more of those points and looking to carry on some very good form in 2012 as well. Quarter-final at the Swiss Open, quarter-final All England Champs, quarter-final at the German Open. At last, in 2012, she's made the semi-finals and was pushed hardest, perhaps, by Yao Sui in round number 1. But Mark Nichols, we're going to have some great singles action coming up right after these messages. I'm joined again by Mark Nichols, Commonwealth Games bronze medalist back in 1994. And here, Mark, we really have a red-hot favourite and something of an unknown quantity.
Yeah, that's right, and it often happens in the ladies' singles, particularly with some of the players coming out of China. What you can be guaranteed of is that they are brilliant players, and it's just whether they are going to be able to maintain the intensity for the play on the international stage. You know, they're always going to have the skills, they're going to have the physicality, they're going to have the power to play at the top level. So let's just see how she goes against the highly fancied Korean.
Sydney is playing host to the Australian Badminton Open in 2012. That's the setting of the Olympic Games back in 2000. But of course, there's a whole lot more to this city. The old city with all its history, and now the modern day as well. And here we are, right in the present moment. New Zealand umpire Justin Zhuo, and he's being assisted by Samantha Nawaratne from Sri Lanka, the service judge. These two have met once before, and it was in the final of the Korea Grand Prix Gold of 2011. Victory that day for Sung Ji-hyun. 21-18, 21-16. She's serving now, the number 3 seed, and she's looking for a place against her compatriot Bae Yun-ju in the final of the women's singles. first point goes the way of Han Lee.
1 love.
I think Sung Ji-hyun just thought the point was there for her and just snatched at the forehand to the open court.
Again, we'll see how critical it is for the players to settle down quickly into the conditions. You know, it's a big crowd in here today. Changes the way the shuttle flies through the air a little bit with the air conditioning turned up probably a little. And, you know, it's a critical component to settling early and not giving your opponent too many easy points.
We're also seeing some pretty high serves as well, trying to make the most of any little movement in the air. Han Lee played in just 3 tournaments last year. And for many of these professional badminton players, that's just nothing at all. They play every week. They're on the road playing somewhere. Just 3 tournaments, but she made the final in 2 of them.
Yeah, she's a handy player, and potentially, I mean, we haven't heard what the reason for that was. Maybe it was injury, having some time out from the game, but you know that she's turned up here to play today. Oh, and that serve was at least a foot long. For Sung really not controlling that high serve, giving away an easy point.
Just long from Han Lee.
Probably similar sort of start to what we saw in the first semi-finals with both ladies struggling to find the back of the court. Just working their way into the match.
And again immediately from Han Lee as well. So she's given up the initial advantage that she had in this opening game. Now trails by 1. And now can Sung Ji-hyun, the number 3 seed, really take advantage and try and open up that what is a crucial 3-4 point advantage.
Really an unforced error there from Sung. She had control of the net. Both players taking a little while to settle into this first game.
Well, it's a replay of the Korea Grand Prix Gold Final, which Sung Ji-hyun won. And that was towards the end of 2011 as well, so set her on her way to a career high ranking of 7 in the world back in January of this year. She slipped a little bit still because everyone is desperately scrambling for those points to qualify for the Olympic Games. So it's a mad time to be working on the world rankings as well.
Well, it becomes really strategic which tournaments you play, what your results are, because your points average is incredibly important to how you finish up on the world ranking list, and then when you get that coveted invitation to the Olympics. Very difficult to get into when you're particularly part of one of the big teams like China and Korea.
So it's over.
6-all in this first game between Sung and Han. Sung Ji-hyun is also the winner last year of the Chinese Taipei Open and runner-up in her home Korea Open the year before that as well, 2010. So just 20 years of age, but already a wealth of experience on the international tour.
Just dragging it down into there. She was controlling the rally quite well there, Han. Just making that unforced error on the backhand. controlled the first one quite nicely and then dragged the second one back down into the net.
Only just wide. Missing long, so Sung back out to 2 points. Han's already pegged her back once. Well, she went to create the angle. Couldn't find it, just catching the top of the net.
6.
It's back out.
Probably a good example of just going for a bit too much too early in the rally. You're not really going to hit a winner there. So she needs to learn to be a little bit more conservative early in the rally, open up the court a little more before going for her big shots. That is often what happens at the start of any big match. Just got to find that balance.
Lee Han. She's already been pushed in a couple of games as well against Kaori Hyun.mp4 of Japan. Took her to 3 games, and then in the quarterfinal as well against Porntip from Thailand, the number 6 seed. Lost the first game 22-20 before winning the next 2, so she's not afraid to come from behind.
8. 9.
And the Thai player Porntip, she has been around for a while now. A great player. She was here last year, so she would have been one of the fancied players for the event. So it was a good win by Lee.
Just missing wide from Sung, but again, you see her movement around the court as well. I mean, you don't get to number 7 in the world by just having a one-dimensional game, but moves well, gets in close, nice touch at the net.
Both players are very athletic, quite tall, 175 centimetres tall, and they cover the court so efficiently. Can play all the shots. Great touch at the net there from Han. Just controlled it,
10.
allowing the shuttle to roll off the tape. There it is, just a slight touch on the tape is what threw Sung it.
And that's 4 straight points to Han Lee as well, turning around to 6-9 into a 10-9 advantage. Seeing some lovely stuff here, aren't we?
She has settled really well.
Han Lee, 11-9. Well, she was trailing by 3 or 4 points there, Mark Han Lee, but she's managed to turn that around. It's been a few errors as well from Sung that's led her back into the game.
Yeah, certainly. It's sort of right on a knife's edge at the moment who can take the ascendancy in this game. 11-9 is only a 2-point gap, and she has settled well, and there has been those few unforced errors by Sung. That's probably the difference in the match so far. So, if Sung irons them out, it could go right down to the wire.
Call 1, 20 seconds.
Well, the fabulous Sydney Harbour, that is the setting for this year's Australian Badminton Open. One of the great wonders of the world, Sydney Harbour. What a place to put a city. It's a fabulous place to be, and so is this. Inside the Sydney Exhibition and Convention Centre. semi-final day. Just long, but we're seeing some fabulous points now between these two, Sung and Han. The sold-out crowd here at Darling Harbour.
It's a really strategic match at the moment. They're both players moving each other around, trying to look for a weakness, trying to force the error.
And that first point after the technical timeout going the way of the Korean number 3 seed, Sung Ji-hyun.
There's a beautiful shot. She just waited on it and then control of the cross court. Watch it here in the replay. She just held that to the very last second, getting her opponent to commit to the backhand side. And she just drags it across. Great feeling in her fingers to be able to control that racket head. Beautiful play.
A superb angle. And she's back out to a 2-point game. Han Lee leading 12-10 in the opening game of the second women's singles semi-final. Three points now. Han Lee's biggest lead of the game so far. Sung Ji-hyun had it out to 3 points earlier on in the game. Change up with the serve as well.
Yeah, it's good variation too to keep your opponent guessing and change the position. You know, they've been through playing the high serve quite regularly, and now that was a good opportunity for Han to grab an easy point.
Just long. Well judged again by Sung.
So it's over. 11-14.
Han looking to her coach for some encouragement, a few words of wisdom. There's an easy point there. Just smashing it straight at the opponent. It's a tactic often used irregularly by players sometimes to just open up with a smash straight at the body. Just not, the opponent's not really expecting it. You know, they should be ready for everything, but if you only use it very sparingly, it can be a surprise attack. Yields some good results.
And after showing some fabulous touch early, Sung's is just deserting her a little bit now.
11.
She's starting to look a little bit confused about what game she wants to play. She was looking over at her coach in the corner there, looking for some advice. I think she's just a bit unsure of herself. Her normal shot's not really happening for her.
That was well long as well. All of a sudden, this game, after looking very tight, for the better part of it, is now blown out 6 points in favour of China's Han Lee. These two no strangers to each other's games. A replay of the Korea Grand Prix Open final.
Beautiful touch there again from Han Lee.
11.
She just rolled it off the tape. It's another example of where her confidence is at the moment. And you can see the opposing side of the coin there with Sung just seems to have dropped her shoulders a little bit and could easily see this game slip away very quickly. Push that long. Just very confused. I think she might want to be focusing on the second game now, thinking about what she's going to do.
11.
Yeah, nearly missed the green court surface. Very unusual.
It's in.
So it's over.
12-19 now.
It's a long way back when your opponent's only 1 point from game point. It's a long way back from 12. It takes a lot of mental strength to concentrate on every point here on in. It's a good start.
Back-to-back points, closing it down from 8 to a 6-point gap, but it's that magic 19 figure as well, isn't it? Just the slightest unforced error and suddenly it's game points to your opponent.
I mean, and even if you don't get all the way back in this game, it's so important just to get some momentum back, to get some confidence back before the end of the game to take them to the next one.
And that's what she's in the process of doing now as well. And immediately, not looking back to the coach
19.
every time now. Just waited for the opening. Brilliant smash from Han Lee. And that sets up
So it's over.
game point now.
20. Game point 14.
Not this time.
Every point now is critical to Sung's attitude going back into the next second game. You know, she needs to really get her focus back and look at what she needs to do. Try out a few new things if she can afford to do that just at this end part of this game, and she might find an answer that'll be more successful than the first game.
Misjudgment, landing right in the corner. And that's the first game in the second semi-final. Sung Ji-hyun trailing Han Lee 21-15. Mark immediately in there in the Korean corner, if you like. What's she saying to try and turn things around there?
Well, I think she's a very intense, the Korean coach, and she was an intense player in her day, and I think she's trying to bring a high-level intensity to her players' game. She wants her to focus more on taking the shuttle early and trying to dictate a little bit more in the rally. She's been sort of, in the last part of that first game, she was very much dictated to. So it's important for her to turn that around and to bring a new attitude to this second game.
Well, let's have a look at some of the highlights then of that opening game, which finished 21-15 in Han Lee's favour. Get a real feel for the action from this camera right there courtside, don't we? The leaping and the speed of the shuttlecock, the movement of the players.
Which certainly gives you a different orientation to how much court coverage that the game requires. The court can tend to look a little bit small when you look at it from the wide shot, but down there at court level, you can really see how much ground they're covering to get every shot back.
Well, in this
Court 1.
rematch
20 seconds.
of the Korean Open final from last year, which was won by Sung Ji-hyun, is China's Han Li in her first outing of 2011, going to get her revenge. The Sydney Harbour Bridge, which joins the north side and south side of the harbour, that iconic emblem of the city. And what a fabulous setting to sit abreast the harbour as it does. And it's just a stone's throw from the entertainment and convention centre here at Darling Harbour in this waterfront precinct. Semi-final date. It's long, so first point of game 2 goes to Han Li and Mark Nichols, three-time Australian men's doubles champion in this very tournament. If Han Li makes the final, she's going to have the most remarkable record of having played 4 tournaments in the last 2 years on the international tour and made 3 finals.
It's a fantastic effort, and you know, we'd love to hear the backstory as to why it is that she hasn't been on the circuit, and hopefully before the finals tomorrow, if she does make it, that we might find out what's been happening with her. And you know, it's a great story, and that's what we look for in these athletic pursuits, is great stories, and she's performing really well at the moment.
Well, she's taken the first game 21-15, and again the Korean number 3 seed there, Sung Ji-hyun, 7th in the world just 6 weeks ago, now finds herself down in 12th. But clearly a little bit out of sorts today. Just doesn't seem focused.
She's looking very frustrated, and I think Han has brought a game that is really difficult to break through. And Sung's just not having enough patience with the way she's playing at the moment. And finished. And you see there, she's just allowing herself to be dictated to from the front court, and Han has got great touch. So you just can't afford to let her have free shots there at the tape. Look at that. That was very close to the net.
And you see Sung's close to the net goes a foot and a half over the top of the net, whereas Han's is just a matter of centimetres.
Yeah, that's right.
Play. 3-1 at the start of game 2. Sung Ji-hyun, the 20-year-old from Korea Republic, has to be very careful now that this one doesn't get away from her.
There's a repeat of the first point, and the last point there, same thing, allow the net control to Han, who has some beautiful touch at the net. You see that an easy put away.
(4-1) now.
Special, very special play at the net. Cross court from the backhand side, cross court from the forehand side. She's got everything.
She does look very much the complete player here today, doesn't she?
Just so smooth with a racket head control from the front of the court. And that's real confidence when you're playing both those shots, particularly in the one rally, back to back.
It seems to be just frustrating Sung, who looks like she's up against a machine at the moment. Everything she throws at her, it just comes straight back. 2-5. She has a point here, though, to serve for Sung.
an unforced error there. It concerns me that Sung's going to continue to play this rally, the type of rally that she played then, where she was allowing the net control back to Han, and that's probably why she's been in this position. She's allowed Han to control from the net, and I'd like to see her probably try and take a bit more of the of control from the front court. Two unforced errors.
Exactly, for the first time in the game. We see Han Lee with just a couple of little mistakes.
5.
Where you see sometimes the mental intensity for it ebbs and flows at different times during the game. That two unforced errors in a row from someone who barely made one in the first game. She'd want to try and switch back on now.
And she has done just that.
Again, led from the front.
So it's over.
Got in close to the net.
6.
You see, that was a good drop shot there, but then this spinning net shot, it was just so close to the tape. Gives her the easy put away.
For the moment, we're seeing Sung Ji-hyun react a lot. Allow Han Lee to decide everything that's happening with the point and just try and defend and get it back in. And it's not happening for her.
Yeah, exactly. Han Lee looks like she's a confidence player. She'll play all the shots if she's got the confidence, and she's happy to dictate the rallies. Sung just looks out of sorts and a bit frustrated, constantly looking over to her coach for some encouragement or something to help her lift. It's starting to fall away for her.
Also comes from being able to read the game so well, isn't it? She's got great vision there. She seems to, at times, just to be toying with Sung.
And often in singles we talk about being it's an economy of movement, and it's a management of position in the court, understanding what your opposition's, what the options are. What if you put them into one point in the court, what options do they have to hurt you? And so then you can focus your attention on the shot that can hurt you, and the one that's most likely to come. Look at that. Absolute confidence there. She uses the drop shot from the back of the court to set up the whole rally, but then has the control. She has all the control and then just changes the racket head position, drops it back over. Incredibly difficult to do.
And there is the number 3 seed, Sung Ji-hyun from Korea, who just looks again, rolls the eyes, and just wonders what she's come up against today. That was better.
Much better play there. Looking to move forward and take the shuttle early.
9.
And then the nice little backhand touch, dragging the shuttle down into the front court.
This is wide and well wide. The first women's singles semi-final was a comfortable victory for Bae Yeonju of Korea Republic, 21-13, 21-12 over Japan's Ai Goto. For the moment, this one is not going in favour of the Korea Republic player.
And again, she's just, you could see the anguish on the coach's face. She just is trying too hard.
It's Han Lee, 11-5.
And again, you can see the intensity on the Korean coach there, trying to give her players some encouragement. I'm not sure how much she's actually taking in at the moment. She's tried a few different things, but she just looks really frustrated and a bit out of sorts. Plenty of words of encouragement there.
Well, is Han Lee completely dominating this match, or is she making Han Lee look good at the moment?
Well, I think there's probably a bit of both there. I think she's Han Lee is really playing some beautiful shots and controlling the game from the front court. I just think that you know, the Korean is really just allowing herself to be dictated to, and then when she has an opportunity, she's overhitting. She's trying to go for too much because she's just anxious and frustrated with the way the game's being played at the moment.
(21-15), 11-5. Han Lee of China leads Sung Ji-hyun of Korea Republic in the second women's semi-final.
Just beautiful control and deception. You know, she controlled the rally right from the start, from the front court play, and then the ability to change the direction. We'll see it here. The deception is there. Just a beautiful shot. Could have gone anywhere.
Well, Han Lee didn't like the call.
6-12.
And perhaps if it was a tighter scoreline than it is at the moment,
She was a bit unlucky there.
she might have had a few more words. As it is, she still leads 12-6.
Very difficult for the central umpire to overrule on that sideline.
Well, she just got her bearings all wrong that time, Han Lee. Backtracking. You've got to have that court awareness, don't you, at all times, when your head's in the air so much, your eyes looking at the roof and backing around the court so much as you do. You have to almost have this innate awareness of where all the lines are.
Yeah, and it all comes from hitting thousands and thousands of shuttles, training in different environments, playing matches, understanding that the air is going to be different at different times of the day. The shuttle's going to be affected differently. It's going to fly differently. Making all those tiny adjustments is what can make the difference in winning and losing.
And Sung Ji-hyun's just returned the favour there as well, getting the bearings wrong. The magnetic field.
Yeah, set up well with the cross-court net. She played that beautiful cross-court net that forced the error. It was a difficult lift and Han just couldn't keep control of it. She wants a new shuttle. She's not happy with that one.
Well, she leads by 5. It's very much now or never for Sung if she wants to join her compatriot Bei in the women's singles final.
She's dragged it wide. It's been sort of the whole momentum of the game with Han taking a lead and then, you know, getting Sun being able to get a couple of points back, but then just not really being able to consolidate any sort of comeback. Giving away an easy point like that just builds the confidence of Han to finish this game off.
14-8 she leads. Long that time, lovely touch at the net from Sung, but now she needs to go on with it, exactly what you're saying, Mark. She wins 1 or 2 points, but then Han Lee wins 2 or 3.
And she's never going to catch up then when she's got such a deficit, is she? You know,
the gap just keeps growing at the moment.
just has fantastic control at the net. You know, she's obviously playing with real confidence to be able to have that that control. She's not hampered by any sort of tension in her fingers. Just controlled the shuttle beautifully.
Again, it misses wide and by a long way as well, and it's a point where she's on top, Sung, where she's dictating, but it just keeps coming back again, and then in that frustration to try and finish it off.
She just doesn't have the attitude to be patient today. She's gone out there, she's trying her best, but as the game gets away from her, she seems to be getting more and more frustrated. And you can actually see it in her body language. Her shoulders have dropped a little bit, and she's constantly looking to her coach.
17-9.
17-9.
4 points away, perhaps, no more, from a third career final in 4 tournaments.
Magnificent cross court there. You can just see how confident she is. She is just ready to play any shot.
9.
This was just magic. Just smooth as silk.
18-9. Still on serve. The return is...
So it's
I
over.
think it was wide, not long, but it's called in.
18.
That's the way it goes when you're on top.
So it's over.
Just
19.
driving the shuttle into the tape and it rolling over. So frustrating for the Korean. Sung can see her opportunities are almost faded away.
I think when she sees that, she realizes that it's just not her day.
Absolutely.
That and the fact that Han Lee has played some of the best badminton we've seen at the tournament so far. She almost got that back again, and she had no right.
So it's over. 11-19.
Yeah, that would have been heartbreaking had that one gone over.
Sung Ji-hyun to serve at 11-19. Just trying, for the moment anyway, to keep it respectable.
She's just played some of the most outrageous winners, just with the incredible control.
11.
Some of the best shots you'll see in ladies singles. Just brimming with confidence.
And match point it is for Han Lee.
She hangs in there. She had the match won. Smashed it straight down onto her opponent's racket.
So it's over.
She'd be disappointed. She would have wanted to finish it with that.
20.
She had the opportunity and just didn't focus hard enough on putting it away.
Let her off the hook. She turned around with a wry smile to her coach as well. She'll have at least 7 more match points. Anyway, Sung serving at 12-20. Well, the masterclass from Han Lee is complete. An absolute destruction of the number 3 seed, Sung Ji-hyun of Korea Republic, and she'll meet another Korean in Bae Yun-ju in the final of the Australian Badminton Open after making very light work of Sung Ji-hyun. 21-15, 21-12. A huge disappointment for Sung. She would have, having seen her compatriot make the final earlier in the day, desperate to join her and make it an all-Korean affair. The number 3 seed bows out, but really, again, you can't argue what we've seen from that lady, Han Lee.
She was just outright brilliant. She outplayed her opponent, and she deserves to be there in the final, and it'll make for a fantastic day tomorrow, the final between the Chinese and the Korean ladies in the ladies singles. Her ability to move around the court, but also to control the racket head in the most crucial times, just probably the difference in the match. And you know, she just came up with some of the most brilliant winners.
And really, for Sung Ji-hyun, as soon as things just started going against her in that first game, it was as though she felt the whole world suddenly just came tumbling down on her shoulders, that everything was against her. And look at that, just 39 minutes. Han Lee books her place in the women's final with a comfortable win over Sung Ji-hyun.
Okay.